it back over here where my little robin is sitting. Right here, and I've got the number 3 round, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of that red on the very tips, and I'm just going to come up and try to give him a little bit of red in his comb here, but I'm also going to fill in some more with him. I want him a little darker. I'm going to cover up. I'm not going to cover up much of that black, but I want to cover up a little bit. And again, I just need to come back in here with a few little flickers because he's a pretty little red bird. I'm going to grab that little liner brush, that 16/0, and I'm going to just barely touch. I'm coming back in here to his beak, and I'm just barely giving that, but I'm going to give him just a little dot, and I want to come in around his face a little bit, and then I'm just going to He doesn't have to have a lot of detail. He just has to be a tiny little red bird sitting in a tree. Alright, so I'm back. And what I've done, there's no sense in, and I can't tell you measurements. Yeah, I can. Let's see. I did use a ruler because I wanted it to be straight. But I come in about, I'm probably about 2.5, 3 inches from my bottom up, and from this side to here I'm probably a good 4 to 4.5 inches. And so I just made me a little mark right here, and then again 3 inches, not 3 foot, 2.5 to 3 inches right here. Same. At this point you might want to use a ruler to make sure you got them about even, and then just marked. And I'm over again. I'm probably about middle ways. I mean, just you can put it in the middle, you can slant it, you can put it anywhere you want to. And then I just came up, I just drawed me a line, I made me some little markers, and I came up about 2 inches on both sides. And then where the line was on the top, I just came across. I came over probably about 1/2 inch on each side of those lines, and I just took my line and marked a ruler and just drawed me another one. And then I came down probably 1/3 inch on both sides, past these little lines. I'm past these lines. I've come over here, and I've come down about 1/3 inch on both sides, and then I just attached them. Again, I used the ruler because I wanted them straighter. And then from this bottom line here, I came down probably 1.25 inches. And I've done the same thing, but I've done it really thin here. It might be 1/8 inch thick. And so that is my bench that I'm working on. So at this point I'm going to grab my number 3, and I'm going to grab some black. And I'm just going to fill this in. And if it gets, if I'm not straight, that's okay. It's an old bench. It's sitting out in weather. It's going to get weathered. Okay, so I'm going to come down, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow this line down, and you can make those as thick as you want. And then I'm just going to wipe that off because I got a lot of paint on the corners, but I'm just going to make my boards here. I think I might bring my legs down just a little bit more on this side because it so my side is a little wider on this side than this side, so I'm just kind of trying to thicken the line out a little bit, make it wider. I like the wider than I do the narrow, so. I don't want it that wide, but I do want it wider. The board's turned sideways. Okay. I still want to touch a few on these legs a little bit because we can always come back and touch up those legs with a little grass around them. I want to do some more to that bench. I'm going to grab some brown and some white, and I'm just going to come in here and touch the top of it. Of course, we want to leave the bottom a little darker, so that's why we're not messing with the bottom as much. A little brown and a little white still, just that's what I'm just keep picking up. And we're just going to come in here with our, just lightly touching these legs with a little of the brown and white. Just giving them a little texture, and I don't want much. So what I did when I stuck that time, I just kind of wiped it out and swirled it off on my brush, so I can just barely touch it. And it's still a little too dark, so I'm going to have to grab just a tiny little bit of white in here to go in. Oops. Just try not to kill all my black and brown. Just wipe that off. Okay. And again, we're just bringing the brown and white at the top here. I've sat on some benches that have been kind of wavy, and you didn't know if you was gonna, when you sat down, if you was going to fall down, and I have fell too. When we first got married, we was having a, well, no, we had Scott, so we were been married a couple of years, and we had this little two-seater bench, and I took it outside because we were having a party for Scott's first birthday, because his birthday was in April. And the bench decided to fall with me in front of everybody, wouldn't you know. Okay, and now I'm just going to come back in here with just some white on my brush and just touch the tips of this. Still has some brown on the brush, but I'm just mainly picking up white. And I'm doing it lightly because if I got too much on my brush, then I gotta go back and do something with it. I gotta get it off. Alright, I'm just gonna come in here at the top and put some more light on the bottom. Just a little bit. I can can get my brush to do what I want it to do and incorporate. Still getting enough white. Maybe y'all believe me when I tell you that I cannot draw, because this is what I draw to start off with. And then eventually I had to watch a video. I really did. It helped me get this a little bit better, hopefully. So then trying to move this skinny people down here to make these fatter people. Yeah, that was where the job came in. So I know there's a lot of you out there that can draw a whole lot better than I can, so don't laugh at me. But what I did, and I'm just going to use my pencil to show you, to help myself to visualize where I needed the feet, I just took a piece of chalk. Let me grab my chalk. And I just drawed a line from across where there. Well, see, that's still not even. Might have to bring that down a little bit more. And we could cover it with some grass, so that'll be okay. But that gives you gives us a basic idea of where their feet will be. And then I just came in here from my rail. I came over about 1.25 inches, and I just draw a straight line down, and then I give it a little tipped in. She needs a little more curve. We can these are minor things that we can fix when we start painting, but I don't know how to tell you how I did this. So when I came over, I just came over and I bent, I just drawed a straight down line, and then I just kind of curved it, give it a curve like you're doing their bottoms. And then I just came back over here. So from this line to this line, which is just another curving it around, actually she's actually going to be sitting in front of him, so that's okay. But I've got him probably about 1.5 inches wide. And that's just from, I just went from just doing him like a little bottom. All this will be filled in. Then I came up and I just brought that line up a little bit on both sides, and then just curved it around. And then I come in and add him a little arm just by curving a little bit. Y'all, I'm really sorry. It's so hard to explain this, especially when I'm not a drawer. And then I give him a little collar. I just come out and attach those, and then just a little head. And so, well, it looks like he's got a big head, but Randy always wore a baseball cap a lot of times. And so this is representing Randy and Jan. And so because of that, I'm putting a baseball cap on him. So that's basically, at some point I've got to come in here, and this will have to be, there we go. There, that'll be his shirt, and this will be his blue jeans. And then I just draw some crazy little legs. I just came down and around, and then I put a just like a little rectangle with a little loop on this side. And then I'm just drawing some basic little, I'm just going to put some basic shoes. I'm not worried about his feet. Same way here, I just kind of, I'm still working on this one. He's coming out from under her dress a little bit, I think. And then we're just going to put, close that off and put some shoes. Just a little round shoe. So there's nothing, no detail about it. But up here, I just came around, I just made a little loop around into that collar. That's all I did, was just make a little loop. And of course we've got some ears here and there. For her, I basically done the same thing. I just set her very close to him. Actually, she might be sitting over on him a little bit, because a lot of times I did sit under Randy. And so just coming around here and giving this a little more curve, because she's a woman. And then I just kind of have my shoulder on him. So we really don't need to know the arm here because they're so smushed, everything's smushed together. And they just comes around to here where it's coming back down. And you can see as I come up, I went across the rail. And if that's confusing, I can just take some water and I can wash off my chalk marks. But I did that so I could know how to draw it. So, yep. And then I just pulled out her arm a little bit, and then I pulled it down a little bit in here so it'll actually be sitting in her lap. And then we'll work about the dress, the flow of the dress she's going to have a flow of her dress, and then she'll just have some little, well, I always wore sandals, but I probably have shoes, or either you'll just see part of my legs, I don't know. But of course, there's not a lot of details for her because she does have long hair. And so we're just going to let the hair kind of flow. Well, the hair would actually come on down here. But we'll worry about the hair as we get there. I'm going to just grab my number 3. And I have some dirty white here. It's got a little bit of everything in it, I think. And I'm just going to start using it and just kind of filling in on my body. I'm going to come up here on his head. It actually ended up making a gray, so that's okay. I'm just going to give him a little ear right here. And just color up. So if you want to know the story behind why this painting got its name, you will have to go over to Shumpert's Hill and watch that video to know why come I named it what I named it. I think I can stay inside this chalk line is what I'm doing, but I'm going to give him some little ear here too if I can. Painting that up a little bit here. Alright, and then I'm just going to come down the neck. And just paint all that white. I hope that doesn't look too weird. I may end up have to put more of her over on him to make that not look so, actually I think I will, but that's okay. We'll come back to that. I'm actually going to put some of her over on him, so. Let's just go ahead and paint her. I can actually I'm going to come back and paint that black. But just so I can tell where she's at, I want to give myself the idea of where she's at. So I'm going to come back over this part with black, but just so I can see her for right now, because he did take shape. Can't promise you he's the best shape, but he did take shape. Okay, so that is the bodies. Now, if I just didn't have to do the legs, I might be okay. This has got me a little worried, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm just coming down with his leg. And I'm going to do his shoe too. So. And if you didn't see, I just come down from the bench. I'm over about 1.5 inches, and I just brought it down at an angle on both sides, and that's giving him that leg. I'm gonna fill in her dress first because I want it to flow a little bit, maybe a little bit more down here. And then I'm going to give her some feet. I'm going to probably just put some shoes on her, y'all. Don't have to have a lot of detail on her feet. Her feet are not the focal point of this painting. That sunset is my focus point. No, I think we'll probably have some of. Alright, so I'm coming back in here with his other foot. And that will be a shoe. And then he's just coming off of her right here. And we're just going to kind of bend this a little bit. Well, that doesn't look right because I'm going to have to give him more body over because we've got a little, he's growing. She's going to have to grow some too then. There we go. I'll just fill that in. Oh. When I'm looking at these legs, I'm thinking calves. Moo. Oh my. Okay, so we're just coming in here. And I'm going to bring her dress on over. Whoops. I want to get rid of, well, I can fix that. I want to get rid of her. I want to bring her dress on over on his, where it's touching.